With a special guest.
Very special guest. Well, not very special, like in a weird way, but it's really weird. I say very special, and you say
put on chest.
rubbing your lips. Goodman's like, I talked to these guys. I told them they can't do this anymore.
Nobody said action. I didn't know we're ready. We're ready.
I think technically this is episode 30, but we're going to call it episode 29. There's a lost episode somewhere out there.
We
don't know what happened to it.
There's some kid that went to Christ Academy who sat in the library basement will find that episode for us one day.
Exactly.
We're gonna
he'll
translate the ancient texts and find.
I like it. When we send in our entire the higher things backlog of video, which I need to do, to Concordia Historical Institute.
Yep.
Someone
will be a doctoral dissertation one day. Someone will write about us.
What not to do.
They'll be like, long ago.
Long.
There were these two
far away.
There were two bears.
We're back. Last night, Mr. Todd Jackson came into town. He's visiting us. You have seen him at conferences. You have seen him around. He is helping out this week with some merchandise and some development stuff. Ooh. And we had the pleasure last night of seeing Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever.
I was late. It just happens. You know what happens. I didn't get the memo to start on time.
So, gentlemen, I'll start with you, Todd. What did you think of Black Panther 2? How did you feel? What did it make you feel? Scale of 1 to 10.
1 to 10. I'm giving it a strong 8.
Okay.
I'm giving it a strong 8. It made me feel. I really didn't go in knowing what to expect. In all honesty. Yep. So it definitely wasn't anything I expected at all. But it was a little on the sad side for me, but it built up for sure. Yeah. I think Marvel's doing this big anti-hero thing, so I like
leaning heavy into the anti-heroes,
Definitely.
And I think Marvel has slowly been creating a different type of movie with every movie.
Yeah.
We have Kung Fu now, we have love stories, now we have the traditional funeral movie, 10 Weddings and a Funeral kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Pastor Hole, what did you think?
Yes, no. I liked it. My favorite, I've actually said this, and I think Marvel's been bugging me.
Spoiler alert. We're going to talk about the entire movie.
If you haven't seen it yet, then that's your
problem. Don't watch this.
Don't watch this.
Don't watch this. I'll put something at the beginning of the episode.
Watch it and repent and realize, we're better than you. Yeah. But the thing is, what I love about it is the opening with the funeral. Mm-hmm. And I've always said this, and I think that's why the MCU's been bugging me. Not bugging me like bothering me, but bugging me like listening to me. Is at funerals we should wear white instead of black. As Christians.
I like that.
Because we're actually rejoicing in the reality of entering the church triumphant. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing you get with Black Panther. You get an extremely liturgical way of doing things. Mm-hmm. Right. Ritual. They get that.
Yeah.
You don't get that in a lot of the other MCU movies. It's all about doing away with that, doing away with ritual, doing away with that which is of the past. Whereas with this, even Shuri's still going back to that even, to a point.
Yeah.
A little slight differences.
And I mean, that's her entire story arc, too, is that she's warring against the past and warring against the culture.
Right.
That has been created in Wakanda, and, her technology directly conflicts with what they have.
And yet, even at the end of the movie, with her burning the robe,
the funeral clothes,
it's still coming back to that. That's still what actually gives her that fullness.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what actually does it. It's not the vengeance. It's not any of that. It's that liturgical rite, burning that, and you have and I thought that was the best tribute to Chadwick. Both the flashbacks there, because that even started getting me. This is. I mean, you realize the character's gone, but this person is gone too. Mm-hmm. It's not like he had. This isn't like what's his name, Rhodey. Who played Rhodey first, and then got replaced?
Cheeto replaced him. It was Terrence Lawrence.
Terrence Howard.
There we go.
Terrence Lawrence.
Terrence Howard.
Who? Patrick?
I don't know.
Terrence Howard.
I'll leave the room for a minute. Everyone look away. Todd's gonna put a whooping on.
Boy said the disrespect.
Patty boy, I tell you.
Me ain't gonna speak on it.
But it's not like that happened. Like he got mad at him, and there was some contract thing. He died, but you still have this being brought into it with this. So I like the wearing of the white garments to show that transition into eternal life.
Well, even as the funeral processions, the funeral processions.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Exactly, and it was beautiful, and it's very emotional to actually see that. Yeah. But they're rejoicing, and they T'Challa went to the ancestral land, and they know that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, and how long do they mourn us for that year?
Mm-hmm.
So this white garments, it's showing this mourning period for
Yeah.
that long time. And then what do? You burn it and you continue going because you're going to the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that reality. So I really love that aspect of it. I mean, I loved multiple things, but that's at least my first contribution to our conversation today.
So we'll get more to the ancestral plane here in a second because there's something I want to talk about. But what did we think of Namor? How did we feel about Namor's representation in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Obviously, we're not done with Namor.
Yeah.
Todd, we're not done.
Definitely not done with Namor.
So how did we feel
This
about...
is where I have to confess my ignorance. I didn't read the comics, so I can't compare his character there to
he's
the one there. I mean,
Same.
I can't name my top 12 favorite Pokemon. I'm not that cool, you know?
I am.
But,
Me too.
you know, I can't do that like you can. Y'all can. So I have to bow out of this conversation and say I follow
so
whatever
for
y'all
some
say.
background, Namor started out as a villain in the comics.
Big villain.
And I think throughout his time in Marvel Comics, at best, he is an anti-hero.
Okay.
He has been a good guy. He's been a bad guy, kind of all over the place. What did you think about his representation?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. The guy who played Namor did a great job.
Yeah.
He did a phenomenal job. I mean, he did a great job. I think it represents him well outside of a comic book because he's literally like that in the comic books. Because he's got this internal battle where, like, I mean, he wants to protect his people and he wants to do this and that for them. But even though he wants to protect them and do this for them, it's bad for those of us who live above the water.
For sure.
So I love the fact that they introduced him as like a misunderstood guy instead of just a villain. You know? So
Yeah,
you
I think
kinda
that's fair.
feel
Yeah,
for him
yeah,
that
yeah.
By the end of the movie, it's like, oh, okay, he was really just trying to protect his people.
And you can't. I mean, it's the same thing that T'Challa went through in the first Black Panther too. Is like it's the exact same story arc, which I think normally would be repetitive, but in this instance, it's showing that this is there was growth with T'Challa and with the Kingdom of Wakanda. Can that happen under the sea and not Atlantis? It was not Atlantis.
No, it's Tanakh.
That song stuck in my head. Thanks, Patrick.
You're welcome.
Got a little red crab singing.
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
Under
You know, now I got
the
that.
sea.
Thanks a lot, man.
All right, we can only sing 15 seconds, or then we're really going to cancel.
Then we get Goodman's like, take it down now.
That's my 15.
Goodman's got his button. He pushes off. Off. This big old red button.
No,
It
veto.
just says
It just says veto.
PC on it. What does that stand for? Patrick and Chris. No.
So even with someone not familiar with Namor in the comics, how did you feel about his introduction to the MCU?
I mean, I thought it was good. I like the character himself. I never had vindictiveness toward him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I never had like this. I can't stand this guy. I always felt it can't talk. Looking at him, he wasn't fighting for himself.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's
The
fighting for
reality is,
people.
this is a people that he's doing something for.
Yeah.
And that's every decision he makes, be it one he wants to or doesn't want to, is guided by that.
Yeah.
You see that struggle even with like his mom. Why didn't she want to drink? It's not because of something for her. It's what is going to happen to my child. Now he's bearing that same cross.
Mm-hmm.
That whatever I do is not for me. It's for literally my children this way. So you have that reality for him.
I'm going to hot take this. I think Namor is the best written villain that we've seen in the MCU.
I'm not putting him over Killmonger.
Killmonger was good. Killmonger was good, but I don't know if we necessarily saw enough of Killmonger to compare him to Namor.
Okay.
We will see a full story arc with Namor by the end of it. And with Killmonger, as we see in the Ancestral Land, Killmonger doesn't actually have a full story arc because he still feels the same way he did when he was alive.
Yes.
And you and I were talking about this on the way home last night, Todd, is in the movie, it's kind of left up to whether or not Killmonger is repentant of what he does. But at the same time, what does he say?
He says, bury me with those who would rather face death than the chains of bondage.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, and that's very true to where we see him in the Ancestral Land, too.
Yeah.
And I think I'm glad that Michael B. Jordan was there.
No, 10,000%. I think that added so much to the movie.
At that point in the movie, I think there was a little bit of a lull, and seeing Michael B. Jordan there, kind of gave some energy back, and it also gave. I'm not a big fan of Shuri as Black Panther
at all. Not a fan at all. I'm not gonna lie to you.
but her talking to Killmonger, I think, gave it
sense.
an entire level of depth that I did not expect to see. Because she's angry. She is very mad.
She's on fire. Livid, mad at the world. What she say? I want to burn it down.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good thing to see. Killmonger, like, she sees him encourage her. He encourages her to live in vengeance. And then she also has seen by his actions and by his life that it doesn't work. And she has to make those choices for herself, but at the same time, yeah, I also want to know how she didn't die
to getting stabbed in the stomach, just like Killmonger did.
Oh, well.
No, Killmonger said something. He said, "You want to be noble like your brother, or you want to get things done like me?"
Yeah.
And I felt that.
Yeah.
Like I get that because at the end of the day, you know, sometimes I feel like you got to be the villain just to get things done, but the things need to be done. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially in this superhero world that they've created, like sometimes you have to be the bad guy. Like we even saw that in arcs with like Tony Stark and other people too.
For sure.
So
We get that with God, don't we? We think
yeah.
God has something called his alien work.
Mm-hmm.
What he does, that is not his nature, yet he does it for the purpose of saving you. And these are things that you don't like about God.
Can you say that one more time? Make sure they heard you. I don't think they heard you. Say that one
It's
more
his
time.
alien work.
Mhm.
God does these things sometimes, and the purpose of them is to save you. And there are always things you hate about God.
Mm-hmm.
These are things like hurricanes that destroy, tornadoes that destroy. These are things like illnesses we deal with, death, all these things. They're crosses you bear.
Mm-hmm.
It's the depression you struggle with, anxiety. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, we want to try to take God out of the equation because then God can be sanitized. God's safe. He's just the cuddly wuddly bear that's there when we need to feel better. Everything else, well, that's the devil. That's
For
this.
sure.
And we like to, that's the bad guy in the corner. But the reality is, the devil is but a rabid dog on a leash that is held by Christ. You know, in the end, all these things are still done by God in order to crucify you, to cripple you, to destroy you, to literally kill you. It's like, take the law being preached. You showed up to church. Why is the pastor still telling me I'm a sinner? Why is he still telling me these things? Well, why? So that you can remember, like it says in the Psalm, remind me of the number of my days, that I am but dust, a few hand breaths, that I'm literally fragile.
Mm-hmm.
So God does that, but how he does it is not a way you want it to be done.
Yes,
So sometimes, yeah, that villain, outside of Christ, God is a villain. He looks like a villain.
Yep.
But in Christ, he is the noble one.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes the villainous wrath of the Father for you. So that reality, it's fun times.
All dropping knowledge on y'all. I hope y'all listening.
I tell you.
Yeah,
hope
yeah,
y'all
100%.
I hope
Yeah,
y'all
no,
listening
that
right
was
there.
fun
that
time.
That
was
was
good
powerful.
stuff.
I got goosebumps.
That was good stuff.
Okay, that was
It's fun times.
was-
All right. Bye, everybody.
And we're gone.
I
My
just need to
job-
do things with higher things where he just stopped. He stopped.
All right, so we can wrap it up here in a few minutes, but I want to talk about one more thing. So we've seen, we are the MCU faithful. All of us have consumed every single project.
14 years strong, baby.
Yep, we've watched all of it. There's only been one project that I have disliked.
Eternals.
No,
I like the Eternals.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Oh yeah,
She-Hulk
yeah.
sucks.
She-Hulk.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah,
terrible.
yeah, you're fine.
No, I've said worse. I've said worse.
Don't forget we had an episode that just doesn't exist.
Hey.
No, She-Hulk. She-Hulk. I enjoyed. They're out of the 8 episodes.
Yeah,
8.
Yeah.
Out of the 8 episodes, I liked 3 of them.
I didn't like any of them. So.
When it first started, you would argue with me about it because you're like, no, this is.
It was,
You know?
and like then it just
And as a
kind
great
of.
prophet, I felt like Jeremiah standing there going, "Repent, Patrick. It will not end in good. It will end."
I
in
did
destruction."
love
Thank
the.
you so
I was
much.
right.
That is not a good show.
Let me tell you.
Do not watch that show.
I did love the finale though. I love the finale.
Okay, Kevin. All right, Kevin.
I loved it.
Yeah,
Okay. Anyways,
Kevin.
so as the MCU
Can't
faithful,
be trusted.
we're in a youth movement. We've seen Kate Bishop.
Like her.
We've seen America Chavez.
Mhm.
We've seen Kamala Khan. We've seen Speed and Wiccan in the WandaVision show, and you know what I mean. So and Love. Don't forget about Love. So we're seeing this youth movement, and in Black Panther, we have a new youth character introduced, Riri Williams, Ironheart.
Ironheart. Listen, she the best part of the movie.
She's not in a lot of it. Like, her screen time is maybe 12, 15 minutes, max.
No, she didn't have much, yeah. But every part was good.
But
every part was good.
She had humor, she had seriousness, she had backstory.
Everything.
Yes.
She had the drama, you had all
She had
that.
the satire, you needed it. She had that light tone, you needed it.
Yep.
So in the comics, the Ironheart comics are typically pretty low on the totem pole. People don't typically like them because they view her as a pretty shallow character, just there to kind of replace Tony Stark.
Literally.
I have a lot of hope going forward in Ironheart because we'll see her in next year. She'll have her own TV series.
Yep.
I have a lot of hope going forward. Like, she was phenomenal. Like, easily one of the best parts of the movie.
Easily, by a landslide for sure. She that actress definitely did her thing.
Yeah.
She came in prepared. She might have masterminded a couple things during her scenes because she definitely takes the spotlight. But,
yeah. Oh no. And I think
sure.
that's a good point because even like when you're in a room with the Queen Angela Bassett, right? One of the queens as an actress. When you're in a room with her and you're able to actually steal a scene.
No, for real.
As a 19, I'm not sure how old she is in all actuality, but like young, early 20s easily.
Young actress, I've never seen her in anything before.
Yeah, no.
For you to just
that
death was deep though. Hers.
Angela,
I cried.
I
cried. It hit me. I'm thinking she was gonna make it.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking she was gonna die saving her like that.
That was intense.
That was some. There's a couple curveballs, and I'm telling y'all now, be prepared. It's a lot of.
Well, I mean, and we've talked about this on the podcast before. Like in almost every movie and every narrative, there is a little bit of Christ, right? And you always see the redemption scene, and to see her literally come to up. See her down there, and then go down and pull her out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't yet, check out the Beyond Reasonable Doubt logo for next year's conference.
Got that baptismal imagery.
We have baptismal imagery. We have the Christ figure pulling her from the water.
Saving your life. Come on.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Like there's some powerful imagery there.
It is good.
How'd
you feel about them nerfing M'Baku? How'd you feel about that? I think he was nerfed.
I think he was nerfed. I think in the first movie, he wasn't a villain, but he is on the outside as this kind of unknown. You know what I mean?
I liked his comedy. The comedy added was good. But
it was
at the same
great.
Time, I was just like,
no, that boy punched him in his chest.
Yeah, just like boom.
He punched him in his chest.
As he looks down and he's like, "That's impressive."
No,
I think that's. I'm glad you brought that up because I was in team. Todd and I have talked about this at length. I think we talked about it before too. Like I am in team M'Baku. Like I think he should have been Black Panther.
Too big.
He is a fantastic actor.
Definitely.
He is a crazy actor.
Shout out to Winston Duke, man.
Yeah, Winston Duke.
Shout out to Winston.
Allison wrote an article on this. This was years ago, and she made the point of don't make women better by nerfing men.
Yeah.
And that was my thing.
Yes.
Don't make men like, okay, you can't do it, and that's how she. No, if women can do it, they're this.
Yes.
They can do it.
Well, no,
Don't
and I mean
bring
that's the
men
thing.
down.
Like
And that was my thing. Like, make him. He's intense. I mean, he in the first movie, he almost takes T'Challa. You know, he's not a weak dude.
Not at all.
So I think that's and on the way home, that was the thing. You know, the end scene when he comes out off the craft, you know, and he challenges, and all the boys are like, okay, strip her of the Black Panther. Who's winning that fight? Shuri with no technology or M'Baku?
With no training. That's why I don't like train as a Black Panther. Like,
she'd be toast.
Like Black Panthers are trained from like the day they're born to almost be Black Panthers. Like they go study, they go fight, they go do strategy stuff. So like for her, I mean, yes, you know, her mom died and her brother died and somebody had to pick up the mantle. I'm here for that. But I just don't think she had the right qualifications for that.
Well, I mean, and I think get him as the king of Wakanda, which pulls all the kingdoms together, which I think is important.
Definitely need that for sure.
So him as the king of Wakanda opens it up for him to be a more prominent character, and I think honestly Winston Duke, as like he is easily one of the best younger actors in Hollywood. Him as a character that's wasted potential if you don't utilize him to the fullest.
Well, he's always thinking of his people. I mean, that's the reality with him. That's why I was like, to me, he was just nerfed. It's like you brought him down. If you put him, she's toast in 2 seconds.
I like their relationship.
Yeah.
No,
the relationship they had, because him seeing her as a peer, I think, is important for the story.
For sure.
But at the same time, like, if they hadn't have nerfed him in the Namor battle that was previous, when he was speaking to her, I think him acknowledging her as a peer would have been more powerful for Shuri.
Yeah, yeah.
And would have made her seem more important and more powerful.
That's my thing. You have him still this powerful. And that's the thing, a good man is not a weak man.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a good man is a very angry, ferocious man.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
The man who can control it.
Yep.
Is calm.
Which and I mean, and that's what M'Baku has always been portrayed as well.
Yeah. He's the dude that can do that. So I don't know. They kind of weakened that. At least to me, they weakened that a little bit in this one.
I like that we actually got to see his kingdom finally.
Yeah.
In the Gorilla Mountains, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't like how basically when Shuri became Black Panther, she like kind of checked him like, we're gonna do this. I said we're gonna do it. We're gonna kill Namor. Like,
and I mean,
to get rolled over.
I think it's assumed that the ruler of Wakanda is the Black Panther. That's the way I took that, because I think that's an interesting point. Is when they have that conversation in the later half, the last 20% of the movie or so, when they have that conversation, it's just one-on-one. I took that as him stepping down because he knows that the Black Panther is the leader of Wakanda. I think the only reason he stepped forward, I'm sure they probably had we can kind of headcanon that they had a conversation that she was going to go to Haiti and he was going to step forward. But I think also, she's not there.
Yeah.
She is not necessarily going to be a president Black Panther. I think that opens up, and I mean, this might be me being hopeful, I think that opens up room for him to be Black Panther.
You want him to be Black Panther so bad.
I want him to be Black Panther
That could be
so
a big
bad.
suit, man. He's
He's massive.
He's
He's a massive man.
In the second one, he's
How he
even
gonna,
bigger.
how he gonna flip? No, he lost a bunch of weight too. He's got
Well, he's like muscular.
He's
He's
buff,
like beefy.
But
He's muscular.
how Black Panther's supposed to be agile, slick, quick.
Hey man, there's big Panthers. You never know.
You never know.
Big guys,
I've never seen
how quick they are sometimes.
I'm fast.
Yeah,
I got a little
you put a Reese's Market in my path, I'm quick, man.
Exactly.
I like it.
I'll go after that.
I tell you,
I love Reese's.
I've won the Chubby Man Olympics many
We should
times.
get some Reese's.
I tell you, I like Reese's.
Well,
Look,
I mean,
that old
there's
crate over there is
They're
gone.
gone.
Yeah, it's
All right.
That's cool.
375.
Gone in a week.
So we're wrapping up. Is there anything else you guys want to hit and talk about for Black Panther? Anything else that stuck out to you?
There's only one post-credit scene, just to let
Yeah,
you
they
know.
lied. They
Don't
lied.
wait.
Lied.
You
They
can
lying.
leave after the first
They
one.
lying.
You're
They
gonna
lying
sit
to
there
you.
the whole time
There's
like
one.
an idiot, and then sit there and the lights come on. It's mid-credit.
Yeah,
and it's like, and then you
mid-credit.
sit through the whole thing, and then it's like
You're gonna cry a little. We won't
And
even
then your
spoil
friend-
the. Yeah, we won't even
And then
spoil
your
the.
friend gonna tell you, I thought there were 2 credit scenes, like I didn't seen the movie before.
Yeah.
Like I know what's really going on. Like I'm not just saying
We're
what
not
the
lying.
critics said.
Trustworthy
Okay.
narrator.
All right, there is one spoiler we're not gonna release for y'all. Just know some heat in there at the end. That's all I'm gonna say. There's no, long live Prince Tucson. That's it.
I tell you,
all
that's
I'm
it.
gonna say.
That's
all.
it.
All right, that's a
Fun
good
time.
episode.
Fun
Yes,
time.
sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
You say.
Todd was here to hang out, work, and see Black Panther, but we also have something super secret coming up for him. He doesn't know what's coming. That's going to be next week's episode.
Huh?
You should probably be a little nervous, man. We know it's coming, but you don't know what's coming.
But I'm never nervous.
If
so
this the last time y'all see me, call my mama.
Yep.
Okay, call my mama, and just.
Call his mama anyways. It's always a fun time.
she's
You should.
she's a wonderful woman.
Call.
She's
It's fun.
she's lovely. I love her.
All right.
All right.
We'll see y'all next week.
Thanks for having me. I'll see y'all.
Peace.
I love it.
Hey, we said peace at the same time. That's funny. Hey, this is
I
a
tell you.
blooper.
Is this oil?